Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Over to you, Jay.
Welcome to the Today Show. I'm Jay Stoyan with my co-host Dr. Laurie Davis for a Monday morning. Wow, what a day it is here in Toronto, Burlington, Ontario. The sun is shining. We have a wonderful guest, and we have a little twist today. So tell our viewers what's going to be happening today, Laurie.
Well, today I invited a colleague of mine, Nadzin DeGagne, and we had a big discussion on the weekend. The difference between having credentials and having credibility, and they're not the same thing at all. So we're going to talk about that and why that's important for everybody to be aware of.
Excellent. So why don't we take a quick break and we will bring on the guest and we'll get right into it.
Okay, we can do that.
How's that?
Oh, we have to get up close and personal.
Yeah, you got to squeeze in a little bit. Squeeze in a little bit. There you go. There you go. There you go. Perfect.
We'll be fine once you leave.
Yeah, once I leave. Yeah. So introduce our guest again, Laurie.
Come in. This is Nadzin DeGagne. She's a colleague of mine, and her area of expertise is working with youth. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what you've done for the past 17 years?
Yeah, so good morning, Jay. It's a pleasure to meet you, my friend. Finally, nice to put a face to the name. So I've been a youth care worker for about 17 years, and a lot of the work that I've done has actually been around the justice aspect. So I was an Aboriginal court worker, and I was a voice for our people coming in and out of the system, speaking to trials, helping them through and navigating them through the court system. I also worked a pilot program, and it was called New Horizons. So we were working with youth that were being charged. We would take them to work or to court and then work with them side by side to make sure that they were following all their conditions and that everything was being met. And what the courts noticed is that, excuse me, when our youth were sentenced, that's where they were having the trouble. Was following those conditions and the probation orders and everything else. So that's where us workers came in, and we did a lot of work with them with life skills, talking about the backgrounds and where they came from when it came down to the drugs, the abuse, the neglect, not going to school, trying to find food to put in their stomachs even before thinking of putting them in education, trying to make sure that they had a place to go and a safe place to be. So I've worked hand in hand a lot with justice. That's kind of been where my heart has been at. And then got to work with Straight Up. So I was working with active and ex-gang members. And then working in with men and women's penitentiaries, helping pretty well reintegrate them back into society. So pretty amazing work.
Very interesting. Now, was this focus on the Indigenous community or any community?
It's status blind, so it's open to everybody, but I'm Algonquin, so I am Indigenous, and that is definitely where my heart sits. That's definitely where my passions are, is to help lead my people and help us rise back up. But yeah, it's status blind. I'm here to help everybody and anybody that wants to walk in that path of healing.
That's so interesting. So obviously you're part of the community now. Has this been a journey from since you were young? Like, did you want to do this? Did people support you within your community? Is this obviously a big benefit for your community?
I wanted to be a surgeon, to be honest, when I was younger. I would watch surgery shows with my dad and just thought it was the coolest thing, the body. I was always intrigued by the mind, but then life situations started happening, right? I was going through a lot of struggles. I was 8 years old when I first tried to take my life. One of my good friends took his life at the age of 13. My parents separated. Then I got into the drugs. I became the drug dealer. And then that's when I just kind of stopped. And it's when I was trying to get my life straight and trying to get myself sober that I realized, hey, Nadzin, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Because when I was doing those things, I didn't have anybody there to support me. I didn't have people to work with me. So the reason I am that youth care worker is because I stand for those youth, for the people that I didn't have going through the systems. So for me,
And
it's having that credibility and being able to walk with them.
so does your community, like Laurie was saying, credentials and credibility, and because you were talking about how I guess you were part of the picture as a youth, right? You were on that team.
Yeah.
That adds credibility, but does it also hurt your credibility because you know those straight-laced people out there, no matter what, they will not give you an inch, right? No, 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 you're part of that community. So tell me about that dynamic.
Well, and yeah, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time too, when I go to apply for jobs, I'm a youth care worker. I'm not on paper a social worker, a psychologist, a counselor. That's not what I went to school for. But yet, those are the types of jobs that I'm doing as a youth care worker. So the credibility that I have moving forward, where I've been in life, has definitely assisted me in serving these youth and their families moving forward and gaining that understanding on where they come from, but also learning from them the things that I don't know. So when it comes down to paper, it was hard to find certain jobs as social workers and maybe higher paying if you would want to go that way. But because I was a youth care, that was the box that I was fit in, and those are the only jobs I could really look for.
Wow. Laurie, why don't you jump in and again tell our viewers exactly who your guest is, what she does, because I know our Facebook page is blowing up. And I would pronounce your name, but I'm going to butcher it. So I'll
No,
just pass it over to Laurie because
Okay, we gotta get closer.
people are commenting on Facebook, and I really think this is important because I got so many questions for you. Like, this is killer. I got a lot of questions for you. So again, Laurie, tell our viewers who we have on today and actually what she does.
Well, this is a special friend of mine, special guest. And as a matter of fact, I worked with Nadzin. She came to my lodge a few years back and took part in some of the work that we do, Self-Worth, the Missing Link. Loved the whole concept of self-worth, took it back to her kids, used the tools to work with her youth, and just recently has returned here. She's actually relocating here to help me out. So she's going to be a big part of the show. She's going to be able to help us grow the show. And of course, she's going to run with our youth program because we have 40 workshops that I created years ago just for youth. And I piloted them in Elsipogtog, New Brunswick, the second largest reservation on the East Coast. And that was 25 years ago. So our youth program's been running for 25 years, and Nadzin's going to take the reins and run with that because she has since retired from her position at the agency where she was working and just wants to dedicate her time to educating people how important self-worth is.
And tell us again why she is at your house, Laurie. This is really fascinating. So I've been meaning to ask you because I know your house is kind of like a positive revolving door, right? So tell us why.
Well, in my career of 32 years in the business, we've had 3 large retreat centers, one in Nova Scotia, 2 in Nova Scotia actually, and 1 here in Alberta. And of course, just before COVID, we let that big building go because we knew that we were going to be not able to receive clients in person. So what I did when I downsized and moved, I got a unit where I've got this cute little apartment downstairs, and there's 2 bedrooms and a bath and a sitting area. And I just bring people in 1 or 2 at a time. So Nadzin came back a couple of weeks ago for a refresher. And then she said, when I move out, I'm going to bring in my girlfriend because she really would enjoy this process. So she just left this morning. They've been here all weekend, and we've just had so much fun, so much girl time, went shopping, did our workshops, cried, laughed, and grew.
So basically it's about your self-worth and you're helping people be positive, you could say, right? Turn their negativity into a positivity if you can.
Yeah, well, this particular series of workshops is called Reclaiming My Self-Worth. So in that process, it's experiential, and we use drawings and art and talking and storytelling, and we actually discover how we lost our self-worth in the first place, and then what we need to do to repair it and restore it, because we all have it. It's all there. We were born with it. No baby came into the world thinking they were crap, or that they weren't good enough, or that they weren't. We learn those things. So sometimes we have to unlearn what we've learned.
Well, thank you for sharing, Laurie. That's great. Let's get back to the Q&A, as I have an
Okay.
example I'd like to test our guest with. There we go.
Okay. We're doing this today because Nadzin had a little few technical difficulties, so we're sharing the space.
Hey, we're flexible. We're flexible. Move, change on a dime. So, okay, so give me an example of a youth story that has turned positive without sharing too many details, because I understand you got a privacy matter, but give us an example of you a positive story.
So she is very near and dear to my heart. I'm allowed to share this as well. Her family has given me the opportunity to do so. So I had gone into court, and one of the guys looks at me and says, Nadzin, you know this girl? I said, absolutely. I'd seen her on the streets with street people and whichever else. They said, okay, she's freaking out in the back. We need you back there. Okay, no worries, because I was court worker before and previous. I was allowed in the back to speak to all the people back there. So I see her, and I let her know about New Horizons. So New Horizons was a program that they could choose to sign up for. It was voluntary. And I told her, I said, look, I'm going to get you out today. And she had a mouth on her. She was just swearing up a storm. Yeah, okay, whatever. And just kind of going on. And I said, I'm a person that I don't make promises I can't keep. I said, so if you want to sign up for the program, I'm going to end up as your worker. I said, and we'll go out and we'll do some work in the community. Yeah, Kate, sure. So she gets released. And I remember when the judge said, Kate, we're going to release you to Nadzin DeGagne from the New Horizons program, she just kind of looked at me and her eyes got big, and I just kind of gave her that wink. And after that, I mean, it was 2 peas in a pod. And she was 14 at the time. And it's really sad to sit there and think that, there were no parents at that time. The addictions was very much prevalent. She was part of a gang. She was sleeping around for money and drugs. She had no value, no worth, just did not care about anything or anything at all. So we have to take them to check in with her probation officers normally when they're released, but it was a lunch hour. So I'm like, how perfect. I'm taking this opportunity. So Tanya and I, we went and had lunch, and we laughed and we giggled. And this girl reminded me of myself when I was younger. And I'm like, oh, great. Thank you, Creator. You're sending me myself. So she was actually on a 24-hour curfew. So we always joked around about how I was her bodyguard. But with some of the training that I did receive, I did victim offender mediation. So it's allowing people to have conversations and to make sure that they're heard and understood. So there were a lot of times where I was called out to her house because her mom and her couldn't communicate, and it was getting loud and cops were about to get called. So this girl and I worked hand in hand together every single day. We hung out. Unfortunately, she ended up getting her cancer back, and she passed away here a couple years ago. But the amount of work that she put in, and because I came out and I did reclaim, I was able to come back not a hurt person helping hurt people anymore. So I was able to speak to her about, the trials that she had been through, talking about that value and self-worth. Even though she had done all these things, it didn't dictate who she was as a person. So we pulled out those beautiful parts in her, and we started having those conversations on who she was and what she loved, and getting her back to gifts and talents. And Laurie actually had come out and facilitated a workshop for my youth. And Tanya actually happened to get to take that program. So, yes, it's sad. Her leukemia came back and she passed away, but this girl passed away knowing that she was lovable, that she had value and worth.
How long was that journey?
I was with her for a year and almost a half. And even when she wasn't my client, she got cancer, I didn't know any other way but to walk with her and her family. So
let me ask you this question. How do you deal with people relapsing?
I can understand it quite well because I had my addictions. And a lot of times relapse is exactly that. What I have learned comes down to our lack of value and our worth. If we don't think we're good enough, we're going to hurt ourselves, right? So we're not really dealing with the actual situation at hand. We might be dealing with the addiction and yeah, okay, I drink, or yes, I pop pills, or yes, I do this, or whatever the addiction is for that person. But we're not really getting to the root of why we're using. And for me, it was to numb my pain.
So if someone like let's just say an example. So you're attached now to a family and you're helping their child and they have a drug addiction and you've gotten through to them and they're doing good. They're doing good, right? And then all of a sudden they go over here for a couple of days and they relapse. What do you do next?
We understand that relapse is part of the process, right? So we
Yeah.
prepare ourselves for it. I'm not saying that we go out and say, okay, I'm going to make sure that I have this in place so when I go use. That's not what it is. We have to prepare ourselves for the times that we're going to fall. So it's really just pulling it back and having those conversations. What was going on that day for you? You know, what was it that made you go use? Okay, so I hear that you were angry and frustrated about a situation. So next time, what do? Let's make a list of supports, people you can call to have conversations with, you know, and how is it that we can support you moving forward?
So you talk to them.
Absolutely.
You don't get angry with them. You don't cut them off. You don't.
No,
You
it is
don't
not.
embarrass them. You don't.
No, it's not my job
You
to judge.
support them. You support
Oh,
them.
absolutely.
You don't judge. You don't judge.
Not
No,
at all. And
no.
that is one gift that I have, and the other gift Creator gave me is to
Do you
connect with
maybe get the authorities involved again? Like, do you do that?
the authorities.
Yeah, like say for instance, like we're just going through, you're helping a youth and this person relapses and you jump on them back to support them, like you're back in there, right? But do you call the authorities too? Like do you
It's
get them involved?
dependent on the situation. So during COVID, we would have the suicide calls. So absolutely, authorities came in, they were called. Us workers would go down and sit in the home with our youth.
Mhm.
When it came down to breaches like that, I call them simple breaches just because I understand addiction and recovery.
Mhm.
So I understand that sometimes we are going to mess up, but as long as we're having conversations with our probation officers, having conversations with their families, and saying, how is it that we can all come together to support this person moving forward? And it's not even us making the choices. We have our youth present. This is your life. What do you want from it, and how can we support you moving forward?
So it sounds like with yourself and the probation officer, you guys get involved right away and see how you can make it better.
Completely.
Right?
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that. That's because there's like today there's so many people in that situation and and I know family members and people and friends and who go through that with their family, and I'm just if they're listening, that's why I wanted to share, because it seems like I don't think anybody wants to be sick. Nobody wants to be addicted. They want to give it that gung-ho effort, but it's such an illness that it's always banging on your door. So for sharing that, I really thank you. Why don't we take a quick break, because I'm going to be removing myself. But when we come back, I want to announce a couple updates, and then I'll let you two discuss this very important issue, because it's very important. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Jay. Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Today Show here on the Disability Channel. My beautiful guest today, Nadzin DeGagne, our founder, Jay Stoyan. He's all excited because he has questions. Over to you before you have to go.
Yeah, so if people wanted to find out more information, is there somewhere where they could go online? Do you have a Facebook page, website, or just through Laurie or stuff like that?
Just through us. I'll put my I will put up my contact information, because now Nadzin works full time with me. So she's left the systems, and we're going to, that's the piece I'd like to mention, because the work that we've done for the last 30 years really focuses on prevention, and aftercare. I'm not an addictions counselor. I don't know how, I'm not a detox person. I don't know how to do any of that, but I do know how to create prevention for people so they never have to go there in the first place. And then people who've, are cleaned up, or they've, gotten rid of the addiction, we do aftercare. So sometimes we have people here in my little unit. I had 2 girls this past winter for 30 days. And aftercare, because let's say someone gets out of detox, then they're on their own.
Yeah.
That's where there's a big need. There's lots of places to go to get clean. So we've got our centers, our treatment centers, our addictions counselors, blah, blah, blah. But then what? You see?
That's right.
So we might be cleaned up, we might be rid of the addiction, but maybe I'm still carrying a lot of the shame, and I have a lot of the behaviors the same when I was drinking as I do when I'm sober. So we help to support changing those belief systems. And that's the work that we do. So here we go. So if you want to know more, here's how to reach out to us.
That's great. That's great. Well, that's great. Well, we're going to, I'm sure we're going to be talking a little bit more. So before we go, I just want to give a few shout outs, a couple updates. I do want to give a big shout out to Your Home TV and our guys down there for supporting us, Sean and Dominic and Dana and all the team. And I do want to let you know that our numbers are climbing drastically. So we haven't really even started promoting, because this is the start of our 3rd week. Mm-hmm. So we're on multiple platforms. On our platform alone, we're getting about 200 downloads, 200 plays per show, and they do over and over. So they're adding. But the big thing is on Your Home TV, our show is averaging, and we're not even promoting it yet, it's averaging about 8K a show. So that's 8K, 8,000 people are watching our show a day in the United States. Well, I guess wherever, because it's streamed, streaming. So I just want to let everybody know, thank you so much for supporting our show. We're just getting started. If you do want to be a guest on our show, please just email us or go on our Facebook page. Let us know. We give away a wonderful TDC gift package, including a book cover, a song, a video. So again, want to be a guest on our show? We would love to have you talk about your story, right? So we can get it out there. And this Today Show has to go to every community across Canada. Like this show is great. Before I do let you go, we do have a big announcement. We're working right now. We might be at the Belmont Stakes in June, showcasing our logo with the pretty horses down there, the Belmont Stakes. That's something interesting we're working on right now with the guys at Your Home TV. So that could be something big. We've also confirmed we are the media for our next fundraiser in honor of our veterans, the Veteran House International platform. So proceeds will be going through there. I want to thank K-Dog Productions. K-Dog is the one that's going to step up, and he's going to provide the evening for a fundraiser featuring Freedom Train, where all the proceeds are going to go to a veteran organization. We're going to give more information. I did post something on our Facebook page, so that'll be coming up. I think that's going to be around October. We got Sound and Music here in Burlington I'm going to be involved with. We do have a 50-50 going on right now. We have a GoFundMe page. Go to our website, www.thedisabilitychannel.ca, and you can find out all the great updates. And again, I want to thank our guest today for being on the show today. Really, really important information. Laurie, I'm going to hand it over to you. Kick me off the screen and have a great next half hour, guys.
Okay, Jay, thanks so much. There, that's easier now. We had to share the screen with Jay. That's all. We were sharing it with each other, but we had to share it with Jay. Perfect. All right. Well, welcome back. We're going to take a little 30-second break. And I'm Dr. Laurie Davis, and we're on the Today Show first thing Monday morning here, bright and early. My special guest, Nadzin DeGagne. And we'll be back to talk a little bit about what's the difference between credentials and credibility. We need both, but they're different. All right, we'll be right back. And by the way, when I do come back, I'm going to talk about how you can fill this space. Instead of us watching snowflakes go up in the air, this could be your book. Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the Today Show, and I might mention right now we're streaming live on Laurie Davis, my YouTube channel, Laurie Davis Show Host. If you search that, Laurie Davis Facebook page, Self Worth the Missing Link Superstars Facebook page, Your Home TV. Wow, what did you think of those numbers?
That's amazing.
Isn't that awesome?
Amazing.
So 8,000 people watching our show every day. And this is just our third week on the air. So that little space that I just showed you is a spot where you could have your product, your program, your book, your services, whatever you want, advertised right here on the Today Show. And if you're interested in more information about that, please contact me just via email. That'd be awesome. And also, Jay mentioned that we have prizes. So we have two sets of prizes. One, today Nadzin will receive a gift in her email for being on the show. And every Friday we have what we call our booty. And our booty is all of our guests donate a prize. We put it in that booty. And then on Friday we draw. So if you've commented on the show or you watched the show, or you want to let us know that you want to throw your name into the box for a gift on Friday, then email us for sure. And I'll just put my email up there so that you can use this as our contact. So if you want to be in for the draw, every guest gives a gift. And before the end of the show, Nadzin will let you know what her gift is. And I think I have a pretty good idea what she needs to do. All right. So Nadzin, how are you enjoying the show so far?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It is such a gift to be able to be here and to be able to just speak to a platform, answer any questions or concerns that they have, and just to be here to be with people.
Yeah, isn't it great? We love it. And it's a holiday here in Canada. It's Victoria Day today, so it's a long weekend. And then next weekend, it's a long weekend in the U.S. Our American friends will be having a long weekend celebrating Memorial Day. So back-to-back long weekends, but that doesn't stop us. We'll still be here. So on the weekend, we did a workshop. I had Nadzin here and a very good friend of hers, and us three girls had a blast. And but it came up that we had a conversation, and I thought it would be a great topic for us today, because Monday is all about self-improvement, self-care, self-worth. That's the Monday show. That is what it's all about. So what's the difference between having credentials and having credibility? So I'm going to just ask Nadzin the question and let her talk for a bit about that. And then I'll throw in my 2 cents worth. So Nadzin, what in your career and your experience, what do you see as the difference between credentials and credibility?
Personally, credentials I find to be, for example, me going to school and getting my youth care worker diploma. That's what allowed me to then get into the field.
Right.
So never mind the credibility and the things that I had been through in life that had motivated me to become that youth care worker. Officially, I had to go to school to get that diploma in order to do the work that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that credibility piece, excuse me, on where I've been and the things and the choices and decisions that I made that really allowed me to walk with my youth and to be able to have those connections and saying, hey, I understand, I've been there. Or, hey, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Explain that a bit more to me. You know, there was always that understanding and building each other up. And that's exactly something that I'd instill in my youth all the time, was that value piece.
Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, they might have lit that fire, or yeah, they might have hit their sibling, but that there was more to that, you know, and being able to gain that understanding and being able to walk hand in hand with my youth and having the families wanting to surround and come in. It's because of where I've been that has helped open that door for conversation, relationship, trust.
So let me ask you this, just hypothetically, let's say you had not had your own personal journey with drugs and blah, 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 but you did go and get a youth care worker diploma. What would be the the difference, do you think? What's the difference? So let's say I was a really big star, superstar high school kid, graduated, wanted to work with youth because I love, working with kids, and I go get my diploma, but I've not had any of that experience. Would that make the job tougher, do you think?
Absolutely. I don't even know if I'd still be there if that was the case. How am I supposed to move forward and service? I don't like calling them clients, but the people that I walk with, if I don't have anything to back that up. And a lot of my youth come from the justice system. A lot of the people that I've worked with, so their saying is, you can't con a con. They're
Mhm.
going to call you on it right then and there.
Mhm.
So if I don't have that credibility, I am then still a hurt person helping hurt people.
Right.
The papers aren't going to tell me how to do my job. The papers aren't, that's giving me the opportunity to put my foot in the door to say, hey, I'm a youth care worker. Now I can use this credibility to start moving forward. If I don't have the credibility, I don't think I'd have moved far whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Whatsoever.
Well, it's kind of like, I always compare it to going to a Catholic priest for marriage counseling. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So the credentials are there, but the credibility isn't there. And I feel strongly about that too. And many years ago, I created a parenting program for parents.
Mm-hmm.
I created the program because I know about kids being a school teacher, and I knew about self-worth after all the work I've done in that area, but I've never been a parent. I don't know what it's like to have that little person around my ankle for. So, you know what? For years, I never ever facilitated that. And if you were on my team, in order to facilitate that, you had to be a parent. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
So that's the credibility, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, it is important to have credentials. I mean, you want to make sure that if you're hiring somebody to replumb your house, that they've been trained to do so, right?
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
it could be disastrous if they didn't have credentials. But then if you look at it, my husband's a licensed auto mechanic, and he is also an aircraft maintenance engineer. So he has those credentials. But you know what? He was fixing stuff on the farm before he ever got his papers.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So he had the credibility before he had the credentials. Does it go that way sometimes?
Absolutely. I think that's exactly what happened with me. As I mentioned, I wanted to be the surgeon, and then life situations happened, and I was like, whoa, no, something's got to shift here.
Right.
I got to go work with these youth.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, here's a great comment from one of our regulars. Yes, a lot of people in mental health care, fresh out of school with a master's in social work, I can't relate with as much as the other worker who has seen it all in his long career in social work. Right. Or he's been there, done that already, right? In his own world. One of the things that was brought to my attention was that when people take the professional training, like social worker, counselor, addictions counselor, therapist, whatever, a big component that's missing for them is they don't know much about self-worth. Has that been your experience?
Very much so. I went about doing my job for how long until I realized, whoa, something's wrong here, Nadzin. I knew that I wasn't okay. With all the traumas and every situation that life threw me and some of the decisions and choices that I made that didn't support myself moving forward. So for myself, it's like we say, hurt people, hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
So how am I supposed to be an effective role model or mentor if I'm not even able to talk about the things that I've been through?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the beautiful thing was when I came out to Buck Lake and I did the retreat and reclaim, I was able to let go of everything and understand the patterns and behaviors and decisions and where I lost that value and worth.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was able to come back and say, no, nobody's ever taken that from me again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to go back to my communities, and I was able to go back to my job and be more effective. Because
Right.
now I'm able to meet my youth. Now I'm able to understand. Now I'm able to actually share my stories. In youth care work, you're not allowed to tell people what you've been through. You're not allowed to connect with them in that way. How are we supposed to build trust, Laurie?
Oh,
Like, it's the biggest component in my field. But
I know.
How do you build trust if you have no credibility to say, hey, I understand, and
I
how do you
know.
feel about that?
I
And
know.
you know, yeah, the credibility is important, but that's not what got me through. That's not what got me effective and made me good at what I do. That's not what got the partnerships with my youth and the trust and getting the families to work as a whole.
Yeah.
It's because I've been places, right?
Yeah. You mean the credentials wouldn't have gotten you there? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Like it's just, I guess if it was kind of, I have another personal story about credibility. Many years ago, I was making quite a bit of money. I was in marketing and sales, and I was top performer, and so I was building up quite a bit of cash. And I thought, I should be doing some investing, or something. So I called. My banker recommended a company, so I called this company, and they sent a guy out to see me. Okay. So this kid drives up. He's got not that you measure people by their physical material possessions. I don't. But this was somebody that was going to be handling my money. So he drives up in a rusty K car. He's probably, I don't know, 25. And he came in and we sat at the kitchen table. So I said to him, so what's your net worth? This would be a good show for Ramin and I to do. What's your net worth? And he goes, well, I don't really have any money right now. I'm just getting started. And I said, well, I can appreciate that. But you know what? This isn't going to work for me. He had the financial advisor certificates, but he didn't have any credibility. So I wasn't willing to trust my money with him.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's what we're talking about today. And if you don't have I always say what you know, and we all know a lot of things. It might be, I know how to make the best chocolate cake in the whole wide world. That's your credibility, what we know. And what we know is what we've experienced. And that's how this all came up this weekend, because that was part of our workshop, right?
Yes.
What you know is what you've experienced. And that, in fact, is your credibility. So we all have credibility. Like we said, it's not the paper on the wall. It's what we've experienced. And then we share that with others. So, Nadzin, what do you think are the benefits of sharing our personal story? And you know what? That's why I couldn't become a therapist or a psychologist, because it was in the code of ethics. And you said that the same. You want to talk about that?
That's what I'm saying. So it's part of the code of ethics that we're not allowed to talk to our youth or family 7 years after. We're not allowed to be friends. We're not allowed to share intimate stories of things that we've been through, because at the end of the day, they say it's not about us, which is true.
Yeah.
But in my experience, when I had left here, Laurie, actually, when I did the reclaim, I was in my field about 11 or 12 years at that time. And that's when my credibility mattered. I got a call from New Horizons. I got a call from the boss, and he said, we have a contract assigned specifically for you.
Oh, wow.
And I said, okay, well, I'm doing a workshop right now, reclaiming my self-worth. I said, after that, yes, I'll give you a call and we'll go from there. I've worked with this man numerous times, doing sentencing circles and whichever with my training. And we've always kind of, fallen and found each other once in a while. And yeah, with all the work that I've done, being in the court systems, working with the judges, I mean, I didn't have the greatest name back in the day. I was not the greatest person at that time. So I really had to work hard on, that name and presenting it forward and showing who I was moving forward. So it's the same with my youth. It's the same when we go and have those conversations. A big part in the beginning is building that relationship of trust. Well, you just mentioned, how are you going to trust that 25-year-old when he didn't know what his net worth was? It didn't mean that he didn't have the credentials to do it. But if he didn't have money put aside or invested or the things that you were interested in, then maybe that wasn't the guy to talk to.
Right.
So who am I coming in? I feel that I'm causing more damage than I'm doing any good if I'm coming in and just sitting there and being quiet. The amount of work that has been done since taking these workshops, exponential.
Yeah.
You see these youth walking with their heads held high, willing to put in that work and seeing, okay, Nadzin, you did this, then I can do it.
Yeah.
And that being a motivation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really what allows the families and youth to open up, because I've been through something, so I'm
Yeah.
going to understand it.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I haven't, they're going to sit there quiet and silent because I'm just another person in this. I'm just another person with
Mm-hmm.
a paper on my wall. And don't get me wrong, I worked really hard for my youth care worker diploma, and I am very proud
Mm-hmm.
of those papers. I put in the work. But the reason I'm so proud is because now I can take everything that I've learned and that I've been through in life and start going out there and telling my story
Right.
and sharing that with them to help empower, to help open eyes, to help gain an understanding. And then all of a sudden the doors are opening and the families are like, hey, Nadzin, your spot's right there, your coffee cup is over there. And all of a sudden it's a sense of family. I'm not the worker coming
Right.
in.
Right.
I'm a human being with experiences that understands and is willing to walk hand in hand with these people in their healing.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
that's
I'm in the
what-
same boat, man.
Yeah.
I mean, swinging door, I think Jay said, what do you got there? A swinging door? And I remember one time my dad saying, if you need me to, I can come and put a revolving door on your place.
Yes.
Because this is Grand Central Station, man. No matter where I've lived,
Yes.
I have always had that available for people to come and heal and have a home environment. And to me, environment's everything,
Completely.
right? For safety.
Yeah. Well, we're sending people to detox centers and we're sending them to treatment centers, but then they're also going back to the environment that they came from. Yes, as we say, the drinking might have slowed down or it might have stopped, but the pain and everything to why we're drinking and drugging hasn't,
That's right.
right? So that's what we're needing to work with.
And that's what we do. And we have over 1,000 tools in our toolkit.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
We now have 1,000 tools we can share with others to help them on the prevention side and the aftercare side, the empowerment side,
Yeah.
right? Oh, this is Simon. Oh, Hawkman. Nadzin, there is serious issues with mental health and socialization with today's youth. I find how to improve this generation of Z socialization and self-worth. It seems to be very low for them. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's, the trickle from the family.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that separation and not that sense of belonging, but social media is a big one. So a lot of our youth kind of plug away into that, so if they're having a rough day or whatever, they'll go on TikTok and they'll watch this video of whatever. Sometimes, yes, there's pros and cons to everything, right?
Right.
I'm sure we can say that. So for me, sometimes I go to quotes.
Yeah.
But I know that that's something positive. It's not me going to watch this guy, getting super belligerent drunk and taking off and putting pylons on people's vehicles. And, but our youth watch stuff like that and they think it's funny and they don't have the guidance to say, hey, like, that's really not okay. This is what's going on behind the scenes and whichever. So I think technology kind of has taken that over. But again, here we are on a platform able to speak to people about self-worth and being able to have these conversations. So there's that benefit. I mean, look at COVID, right?
Oh,
Everything got shut down. So thank goodness that we had this to be able to see our families if we couldn't see them face to face like you and I.
yeah.
So I think social media is kind of what's taking our kids away. And then again, it's not helping the mental health issue either.
No.
It doesn't help.
No.
I mean, they're divulged in this. So who are they talking to? What kind of information are they getting? What are they reading? What types of ads are they going up to? Then you got the dark web. Then you have, and these youth don't know that.
Yeah.
So now they're getting into selling themselves and all of a sudden they're talking to predators and all of a sudden they're,
Yeah.
so, it's tough. And for me, I'm one that just goes in and hits it hard.
Yeah.
We're going to have this conversation.
Yeah.
You want to do something to change? You want to do something to do better? Then, hey, let me walk with you.
That's
We
right.
got this.
We do. And we have right now in our youth process workshops, we have 40 workshops in our youth program. And we work with them 1 hour a week. So they have a place to go. Like if they have a crisis occur, they know that on Wednesday at 4:00, they're going to see you, or they can contact you outside of class, but they have that consistency. That's what's really worked for us.
Yes.
And we just work an hour at a time with our clients an hour at a time, once a week. And then that 40 weeks, when we say 40 weeks, it's actually 40 hours, an hour a week for 40 weeks. But over that period of time, they have an opportunity to implement, to practice, to, make that new behavior a habit. So implementation and application is really important.
Yes.
Because a lot of times when you take a workshop or you go get some training, you don't really have an opportunity in the moment to implement anything.
No,
You're just getting your head full of,
yeah, you come back to the office and you're like, okay, so what are we going to do with this?
yeah,
Because there's so many
exactly.
things that you can do.
Exactly,
And like you
exactly.
say, you're lost in your head. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to take a little 30-second break. And this is really a fun show today because Nadzin's right here in my environment. How cool is that? And we're going to have a little break. And this is the opportunity you can have to support us because the Disability Channel, our mother network, is a nonprofit organization that supports veterans and the disabled community by creating educational platforms where they can come and be retrained to do something either in front of the camera or behind the scenes in the media world. How cool is that?
So cool.
Is that cool?
Very cool.
And so that's what Jay's all about and our station is all about. So advertising on our show, and did you hear those numbers at the beginning?
Yes.
Like 8,000 people are watching our show right now. Like, would you like to have your product, your program, or your service advertised? You can do that on the show. A sponsorship, which is more of a long-term situation where you would, hey guys, I want to sponsor the show for 6 months or a year. And then, of course, donations. So we have a donation button on our website, thedisabilitychannel.ca. And so we're excited. This is our third full week, and oh my, to have that kind of an audience right now is just simply amazing. Okay, we're going to do one more comment. Look at this. See, Jay's the best. That's firsthand experience from me, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This is one of our graduates, I believe, from our program. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is where we could be looking at your book, your product, your upcoming event. Here we go, because these snowflakes are getting boring to me. Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the Today Show here on the Disability Channel, streaming live right now on Laurie Davis Facebook page, YouTube channel. But our big streamer is Your Home TV, which takes us all over the world. They are in 80 countries and have had up to 40 million viewers. So we've got a very teeny tiny part of that right now, but we're looking forward to having a bigger part, right? Okay, today my special guest, Nadzin DeGagne, and we're talking about credibility, our journeys, self-worth, and we have about, 5 or 6 minutes left in the show. So what else is it that you might like to say or share with our audience today? Maybe what you're doing now and what you're looking forward to doing.
Definitely.
Now that you've left the systems into a new system.
A more freeing system that allows me to take my credibility, for sure. In my 17 years, I have seen a lot and I have learned a lot. And I'm not saying that I know everything, but I have literally been in the trenches. I was homeless, 8 months ago? I was living in a tent. I was under the bridge with my dog one night, and I'm literally in the streets with my people all the time. That's what I say. I belong to the streets. my friend Owen always says he's got a PhD in the streets. That's not the type of training you can go to school for.
No.
So I threw myself in the trenches. I went into the nitty-gritties. I wanted to know everything and anything. I wanted to understand. I wanted to know why I tick the way that I tick. I wanted to understand why people were where they were, what types of issues or behaviors or situations in life that might have held them back. Why it is that gang members become gang members. What is it about that is intriguing? What is it? And it all comes down to our lack of value and worth. How are we supposed to be so effective? How are we supposed to live this life that we want when we sit here and think that we don't even deserve that life anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so when it comes to youth, I'm very adamant about my youth because I believe very much in prevention.
Yes.
So this is going to be my kids' teachers, my kids' counselors, my kids' coaches, my kids. So it's my job to help these youth move into a place where they can be more effective.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know, you got the workshops that our self-worth has everything to do with it. So if I don't think that I'm deserving of having this new career, then I'm going to stop myself from having it because I'm not good enough. Why do I deserve that? Right? But these were situations that happened in my life that had me in that thought pattern. And it's like, whoa, Nadzin, you came here with so many gifts and talents, girl.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I'm kind and compassionate and I have no judgment. I know that I'm very loving and I have so much to give. So with the new journey being out here, getting to be part of this process, it's that credibility, Laurie, that I've been through that is going to allow me to be able to take these programs and these workshops and push them through in a proper way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally allowing me to create that balance with our youth and to be that preventative measure.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to wait until they're 18, 19, and now they're picking up charges because of the behaviors they're going through because they're hurting.
Yeah.
We don't need them to have their children seeing them behind bars and knowing that that's the only type of relationship that they have. No, that's not okay.
No.
And especially with our people, right? With the indigenous people and everything that's happened. We always say, like, it's not our fault what we went through. It was horrific.
Mm-hmm.
But if we want to move forward, we're the ones that have to step up and decide to heal.
That's right.
So this is who we want to walk with. And these are the workshops and everything that we carry.
Mm-hmm.
We have it right here.
It's all here.
Exactly. So allow us to walk with you.
Mm-hmm.
The best investment you're ever going to make is in yourself. And that there's sayings out there and people say, well, they're just sayings. But I'm noticing that I'm connecting with so many of these right now.
Yeah.
That this is our time. Investing in us. We're living life for us.
Mm-hmm.
I may have you supporting me, and I'm very grateful and thankful for that. But
Yeah,
I'm the only one that can get myself across that finish line.
Exactly. I can't go to the bathroom for you.
Exactly. Our point exactly. So yeah.
Because I've had different people say to me, oh my God, you saved my son's life, or you saved my. No. I said, I didn't save anybody. I showed them how to save themselves. Right?
Yeah, and I get that often too.
Yeah,
It's like you did the work.
You did the work. You did the work, man. So we're really happy to be here on Mondays because on Mondays we talk about self-care, self-worth, self-improvement, and I'm so grateful to Nadzin today for being here. And what are we going to give for a gift? What are you going to give for a gift? Maybe if there's a parent out there
I was gonna say
that has a youth and they would like to spend an hour with you,
I would love to give
Would that be?
my time.
Okay.
Completely.
So that'll be our prize. And if you win the prize on Friday, but you don't have a youth, or you probably know somebody who does. So you can always pay your gift forward. So if you get a gift from us, from one of our guests, and it doesn't apply to you, you know somebody. So we'll put that as our first booty prize this week. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're going to get some gifts too. Kathy Bell, I don't know if Kathy's here this morning, but we'll definitely be talking with her. She's our person that sends a beautiful thank you letter to our guests and sends off an autographed copy of Jay's book, Flanagan's Life Inside an Irish Street Gang.
Yes.
A copy of his song that he wrote,
Perfect.
Shining Light. And then there's some other motivational stuff, quotes and whatever. So you'll be getting that in your email as our thank you. for you being on the show today. So Tuesdays, tomorrow is finance with our guru, Dr. Ramin Modiri. Wednesday is wellness. And this week, we're going to feature Dr. Kay Sheffield, one of our very own.
Perfect.
We have so many amazing people on our team, right?
Absolutely.
We don't even have to go outside to find guests.
We're pretty eclectic.
We
yes.
are. And she's a 2-time cancer survivor, and she's going to talk about that. And then Thursday is our VIP, very important people, voices of Indigenous people and veterans on Thursdays with Dr. Leonard Standing on the road and guests. And then on Friday, it's just a fun day on Friday.
Yeah.
We'll take anybody on Friday,
right? Yeah.
for a guest. And we draw for our booty prizes. So thank you so very much, everyone, for being here. Anything else, Nadzin? We got a couple of minutes.
No, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for allowing me to have a voice and to share this space with me and, send out a bit of knowledge and just know that I'm definitely here to reach out to as well. I'm definitely here to talk to if anybody has questions or anything concerning youth or mental health or whatever conversation, justice, everything and anything and in between. I'm definitely here to help support you moving forward as well. So.
All right. Well, see you tomorrow. You've been watching the Today Show here on the Disability Channel. And thank you out there. Big shout out to Your Home TV. As Jay mentioned, Dana and Sean and Dominic, you guys have been amazing. All right. Bye for now.
Bye.